Good morning. So it's day 2 and we just picked up the path again, leaving Surlingham. So we're going down what they call the Covey, which is like this little lane that goes off and joins up to the next village, which is Rockland St Mary. So today's plan is to walk to Reedham Ferry, which is about 16 miles from here, and we go through Rockland St Mary, then we go through Langley, Chedgrave, Loddon. Loddon's got quite a lot of shops and things going on, so we're probably going to try to stop there for, I'm hoping, like a kind of afternoon tea and scone type thing. They've got a couple of tea shops, which I think would be quite good to stop at. So then after Loddon we walk further along the river, and then the next place is going to be Reedham Ferry. We cross over the chain ferry today, which is very exciting, and apparently as foot passengers you get it free if you're eating in the ferry restaurant, that is. We've got a table booked in there for 8 o'clock with some friends this evening, and it should be a really nice day. So I'm hoping that it's going to take us about, well, we're kind of calculating 8 hours, because 2 miles an hour is sort of a nice consistent walking pace, which includes stopping for snacks, looking around, that kind of thing. And then yeah, we left at 9:30, so should be there well before dark this time, so we don't have to kind of rely on our head torches to get us in at the end. That's the plan anyway. Got our first reassuring Wherryman's Way sign, and we're passing the Ted Ellis Nature Reserve, which covers a bunch of marshland. And if you're into bird watching, I really recommend going. You can have a walk, actually you can walk quite a long way, like a good couple of miles or so. It takes you down to the river, and there's lots of bird hides that you can watch the marshland and check out the local wildlife. It's very peaceful and a nice walk, and recently they redid all the boardwalks in it, so it's actually quite comfortable to walk on, because sometimes in the past it could be a little bit boggy. But we're not going to do that today because it's going to take a bit too much time, and we've already done it before. So we're going to carry on, follow this path, and end up in Rockland. A magpie. Oh no, was it a jay? I think it was a jay. So we've just stopped so that Paul can adjust his gaiter. Gaiters are a new thing for Paul, so it's an interesting gaiter adventure. They're tricky things to put on, actually. I had the same issue when I started wearing them. The gaiters that he's wearing are actually set up for my size feet, so he's got to adjust the straps and things to make them right for himself. Meanwhile, I'll get this nice view of the river over there in the background, because we're a little bit away from it now, but we'll get back to it very soon. We have this amazing view from their place there. This is the New Inn pub at Rockland. I think it's called Rockland Stayed actually here. So here's the water. This is like a dike that comes off the river. We're going to walk beside it. So we've just come from Surlingham. It says 4 miles. I can't believe we've actually done 4 miles. We haven't done 4 miles, have we? How many miles have we done?
It's a bit shorter from where we walked.
Well, we came from Surlingham.
Done nearly 2.
Okay, so the signposts are not quite accurate, but depends which bit of Surlingham you're measuring. Next thing's Langley Dyke, 3.5 miles. All right. I can see Cantley Sugar Factory in the background in the distance there. We're going to walk past it later on. It's the time when they do the sugar beet campaign right now, so you can see steam coming out of the chimneys. We're right next to Rockland Broad at the moment, and there's a bird hide here. So we're going to have a quick look in the bird hide. Ah, that's a shame. It looks like the hide is closed. Not sure if that's still from the pandemic or whether it's because the hide needs a bit of attention. There's a lot of berries here. Not sure if they're actual red currants. Possibly, I guess. Not going to eat them just in case though. We've obviously done quite a lot of work. We see a lot of new gates put in around this section, and they've recovered the path. So we've come to the end of the dike and now it's joined the river. There's people sailing over there. Sun's gone behind the cloud and the wind's starting to pick up a little bit, so it's gone a little bit chilly. Just going to follow the path now alongside the river. It's got super windy. We're at the Beauchamp Arms in Buckingham. We've got a sign here that says we've got to cut inland again. So that's what we're going to do.
It's not very open, is it?
Not really. Well, it's now 11:30. Maybe they don't open till 12. So no pint for us.
The bricklayer was showing off, wasn't he?
Gosh, yeah. Look at that. Just walked into this gate that says Langley Abbey, trying to find the remains of Langley Abbey, but it all looks a bit sort of bleak here. There's a farm. That bit's private. Absolutely no sign of the remains of an abbey. Just a field. A state office. Oh, there it is. Alright, so here are the remains of Langley Abbey. Doesn't seem very popular, even though it's a Saturday. It's midday as well. Paul didn't want to wander up. He's aware that we're doing quite a few miles today and that we need to carry on. We've done about 5 miles, so we've got about another 10 to do. We're on track actually with what I thought speed-wise, but he's just had a really rotten cold all week, so he's still recovering a little bit. Doesn't have his full strength back just yet. We're walking along the road at the moment, but it'd be quite nice to turn off. I think we don't have too much further on the road, and then we turn off and we go back towards the river again. Hopefully find a nice bench where we can eat our lunch. There's a First World War memorial on the corner that we're turning here. So we're in Langley and this is Langley Street now. We've got to go down this way. It looks like they turned us off to the left there. I think I can see a signpost just on the left, look.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, there's some pretty boats down here. Looks like canal boats. Norfolk board cruisers. This is Hardley Dyke. Hoping there's going to be a bench along here. So we found ourselves a little picnic spot on a bench overlooking the river. Lovely day for a sail. There's some guys fishing on the corner. The bench we've got is a little bit wonky. It's kind of tilting downwards. I think we're just going to persevere with it anyway. This is Cantley Sugar Factory. It's quite massive actually. And as you can see, it's working because it's got the steam coming out of the chimney there. It's a big thing around here. They grow a lot of sugar beet, and I don't know the percentage, but they provide an awful lot of sugar for the UK sugar market. Just seen a heron fly over there. It's now coming up, swooping down over there. Might be a bit too far away to see on the camera. This is Hardley Mill. You can actually get refreshments here in the little shop here, and you can get them to take you up to the top of the mill for the view, which we are not going to do today, sadly, because we feel like we're running out of time as per usual, so we're going to continue on. We need to get to Loddon really, and it's now 1:45, and we've probably got another 2 or 3 miles to Loddon, maybe? Something like that.
I think so.
Nice mill though. We've turned off the river, the main river Yare again. You can see on the other side of the water there's a little path, so basically we have to walk all the way down here, then back again on the other side of the river because there's no way to get across. Just had a little snack break looking at the map and realised I've got all my dike names middled up. So this actually is Hardley Dyke, and the previous one was Langley Dyke. And then the next one is going to be the River Chet, which is the one that we have to walk quite a bit inland and do this sort of dogleg thing. So we were both feeling a little bit faint and not really with it. So just stopped and had a bit of a chocky bar thing. Hopefully that'll perk us up and we'll get going again. The sign tells us it's 4 miles to Chedgrave Common. Over there in the distance we can see Reedham village, which is basically where we're going to. But we have to go the opposite direction to get to it. Just looking at the reeds on the other side of the river, you can see how much the tide's gone down by looking at the dark part on the bottom of the reeds. That's where the water came up to before. So it looks like we finally made it to the Chet River. We can tell because there's a sign over there going Loddon and Chedgrave. What did it say, 3.5 miles? And then we've got this little,
Yeah, 3.5 miles.
I don't know what that is. What's this little statue thing here? Should we have a little quick look? The Chet Valley beeline. So you can even go swimming in the river, or if you fall in you can get out by using those steps. Lovely, isn't it? It's just beautiful weather for walking. All right, let's see. So you've got my shadow in the way, but here is the Chet. Which way are we? Okay, so we're here. And then we're going to walk to Loddon. Actually, we go a little bit down here, and then we have to take a detour off because apparently this part of the walk is impassable now, probably because of flooding here. So we have to go round and then down here, and then we come back on the other side of the river, up and then cross over here, which is where the ferry is, and there's the pub on the other side, which is where we're aiming for today. Oh, it's good to see it on a map actually. It's really quite a long river. I didn't realise it went all the way basically to Pouring Land. Cool. Okay, and the monument is a Hardley Cross. There's a little plaque about it here. It says Hardley Cross. This cross marks the ancient boundary of the jurisdictions of the city of Norwich and the borough of Great Yarmouth on the River Yare. Probably marking the original limit of Breydon water, it was confirmed for Norwich by a charter of Philip and Mary of July 1556, restored in 1971. So there you go, folks. Hardley Cross. So we've been watching out for this point because when I looked online to check if there are any diversions on the route, it said that at this point there was going to be a diversion around Hardley Flood. This is an area they call Hardley Flood. We can see over there that they say footpath closed ahead, so it looks like they've made it a permanent change because now there's an actual signpost saying Wherryman's Way to the right, which is what we're going to do now, and avoid all the Hardley Flood section. But I do wonder why they don't update these changes when they're made permanent on the OS maps, because we downloaded the GPX file onto the OS maps from the Hiker app actually, and it's still showing to follow that way instead of the diverted way, which has been diverted like this for quite a long time, I understand. We just passed Hardley Hall. There's a farmer ploughing his field. Following this little lane up, we've got another mile or two to get to Loddon, and it's now 3:30 in the afternoon. So I expect we'll be there about 4 o'clock and then have another hour and a half or maybe 2 hours more walking before we get to Reedham. Starting to cool down a bit now. Still early, but it's 4 o'clock. But you can really notice that the heat's going out of the day. We're just about to hit the road, still on our way to Loddon. It's surprising us both that we feel quite tired today for the distance that we're doing. I wonder if it's sort of partly because we're coming into autumn and your body kind of takes a little bit of adjustment going through the little bit lethargic stage, you know. Haven't done tons of walking over the last couple of months. So I guess also we've probably lost a little bit of fitness. I know I have. When you're walking every day, like big miles, like 15, 16 miles a day, it doesn't seem so bad as when you suddenly do a 15-mile walk when you haven't done much exercise all week. I changed my job recently, so now I'm working on a computer. It's taking a little bit of, I guess, time to get used to it, in the sense that I was doing a very active job before, now I'm sitting down a lot. And it really is noticeable to me just how much you lose your kind of regular baseline fitness from what you do during the day. And although I'm trying to do yoga in the morning, I'm doing yoga in the morning. Hiya. It doesn't seem to really be enough when you spend 8 or 10 hours sat at a computer all day. So, oops, there's a car coming. Oh, it looks like we're going to be on the road for a bit now. So perhaps I'll side off and give you an update later when we're hopefully on the other side of Loddon. Seems that we came across some pheasant shooting. You probably heard in my previous video that there were some shots being fired. This is a common thing that happens in Norfolk at this time of year. They get a group of farmers, usually local people, together, and they hunt for the pheasants. They're actually, you can see the lorry behind me, and they're all in this field here. I don't really understand how it works, but they've got like a kind of like a hut on the back of the tractor. And they've got a lot of dogs that are going around finding the pheasants that have been shot. And there's farmers like holding 3 or 4 pheasants in their hand, waiting for some more to arrive, I guess. I've always heard the shots when I've been walking around the country, but that's the first time I've actually seen it quite up close like that. Yay, we made it to Loddon. Here's Loddon. Loddon's a nice town, I would say, rather than a village. It's got quite a lot of amenities here. There's like a co-op and pubs, restaurants, there's hotels, B&Bs, a lot of places where you can stay here. I'll put a few links in the video below if you're interested. We've got to find a left turn. I think we're going to cross over the river. This is Loddon Mill right here. Wellbeing Centre now. There's the King's Head. Up here is the Swan pub. We just went past the Premier shop and got ourselves some snacks, so we ended up with a couple of samosas. I can smell fish and chips. I know there's a fish and chip shop in Loddon. Must be somewhere here close, I think. Is this it? Yeah, this is it here. Fish and chips. Just admiring this massive yew tree here. So we're walking through the cemetery to go out of Loddon again. Look, there's a lot of yew trees on the other side. Look quite spectacular. So we've crossed over the bridge. So basically we had to go into Loddon to get over the River Chet because there's no other way to carry on otherwise. And it's a nice little stopping off place. The cafe was closed that we went past. I think you could probably get drinks, hot drinks if you wanted them in the pubs. There's quite a few pubs. It's a really nice little town. This is Heckingham Church, and some very aggressive dogs that really want to kill us over there. Hopefully they can't see us anymore. This is a very nice route. I did this walk, I don't know how many years ago, quite a few years ago now, maybe 15, and I don't remember this section at all. I remember other bits of it, but not this bit. Got a nice reassuring Wherryman's Way sign here. Down to Ferry Lane, which is great because we're going to catch the ferry. Very excited about catching the ferry. Oh, over there we can see still the steam coming from Cantley Sugar Factory. It's a beautiful sunset this evening. I wonder if I can show you a little bit the colour of the sky maybe. Just peeping through the trees there. And Paul reckons we've only got like a mile to go or something, mile and a half. So should be there in about half an hour, which is a lot closer than I was thinking. So that means we should get there before it gets dark, which is promising. So we're back on the edge of the river. I can see right up there that there's the chain ferry in the centre, but we're walking on the road at the bottom. As you can see, Paul's down the bottom there. It's hard to focus because it's getting a bit dark. Still enough light in the sky. So we're off, crossing the river to get to the pub. So that's us, we made it to Reedham ferry, crossed over. We got the ferry for free, as you do if you're going to eat in the restaurant, because it's actually owned by the restaurant. There it goes, it's off crossing the river again. The last one actually goes quite late, about 10 o'clock. And there's a B&B just on the other side, so that's always a possibility if you want to find somewhere to stay. And there's B&Bs also in Reedham village. But our plan, we're going to eat in the restaurant here, and then we're going to catch the train back to Norwich tonight and sleep at my place and come back in the morning. So have a good evening, and I shall see you tomorrow.